II that the State Department apologized to the Nazi government for the bellicose mayor's words. In his next anti-Hitler speech, LaGuardia made sure his insults were even more barbed. He came of age politically just over a century ago, in a time not unlike our own. Cultural divisions pitted cities against rural areas, new Americans against the native-born. Demagogues warned that the nation's Anglo-Saxon Protestant identity was in decline, with moral collapse sure to follow. Nativists in Washington imposed new immigration restrictions to keep America great. The historic migration of Southern black people to the North was underway, challenging white supremacy in supposedly more progressive cities like New York. Many Americans turned inward, rejecting the internationalism of Woodrow Wilson and his allies, who believed a globally connected world would be more peaceful. The nation's newspapers and magazines celebrated wealth and fame, even as urban families crowded into unhealthy tenements, and parts of rural America lacked access to electricity. As a member of Congress and then as the mayor of New York, Fiorello LaGuardia attacked the problems of his times with a rare mixture of ideology and pragmatism, seasoned with integrity. He spoke from firm belief and from an absolute confidence in his own conscience. He was sure he knew right from wrong, and he had the courage to make those distinctions regardless of whom they offended or why. Nobody fed him talking points. None of his positions were crafted by consultants. He was his own person, and if you liked it, great. If not, you knew better than to expect him to change. He is best known today for his tenure as mayor and as a name attached to an airport that he was instrumental in building, to the embarrassment of those who dubbed the project Fiorello's Folly. But there was much more to Fiorello LaGuardia than those 12 years in New York's City Hall, important though they were. The broad sweep of his career as a multilingual agitator, as a prodder of the nation's conscience, as a patriot who volunteered for war service, and as a friend to the voiceless, has lessons for America in the divided, chaotic, and dangerous first quarter of the 21st century. Famed though he is, there is much that has been forgotten about LaGuardia's leadership, courage, and integrity. Now is a good time to remember those qualities. To be sure, his righteousness and dedication to duty made him a demanding boss, and yet he inspired devotion and loyalty from those who worked for him. Ernest Cuneo, who served as a young congressional aide for LaGuardia, noted that he and his colleagues knew what it was like to be chewed out for work judged to be less than satisfactory. It wasn't pleasant. But underlying everything else, he wrote, was a solid foundation of profound respect and affection we were not ashamed to call by its right name: love. LaGuardia's 3 terms as New York's mayor, stretching from 1934 to 1945, remained the standard by which his successors have been measured. All have fallen short. Part of his durability can be attributed to the times and circumstances, for he benefited from New Deal funding that he used to rebuild and reimagine New York for the 20th century and beyond. He was hugely fortunate that a fellow New Yorker, Franklin Roosevelt, was in the White House, and even more fortunate that the two men got along famously. No other local official had the kind of access to the Oval Office that LaGuardia did, and he was not shy about using that access on behalf of his more than 7 million constituents. But LaGuardia's legacy and his enduring presence in the life of the city he led is measured not just in projects completed or promises kept. His spirit, energy, and chutzpah made him simply unforgettable. A short man with an inescapable shadow. He was an authentic populist, a barely educated but street-smart son of immigrants suspicious of social superiors and